Independence Day, Nigeria! Good morning.
Yes. 64 years old.
Yes,
That's who we are.
Don't try.
Yes.
As a
Almost
nation.
64.
64.
Wow, whoa.
Wow.
Amazing.
Congratulations, Nigeria. To those of you watching at home,
Yes, indeed.
happy Independence Day once again.
Now, the presidential speech started around 7 a.m. And there's been a lot said during the speech by our president.
Yeah, he addressed a lot of issues.
Yes, so many.
Terrorism, banditry.
Yes, indeed.
Also promised 2.5 million jobs
Yes,
through the
indeed.
LEAP program. He also talked about, and what I think would stand out for a lot of young people is the National Youth Conference that he talked about, you know, putting together for the next 30 days to sort of also highlight and also encourage youth participation, you know, when it comes to leadership.
And
so,
there's a NEL fund as well, which has been the point of discussion for a while now. So it's a good thing that it has already been implemented. And apart from that, of course, the Forex, the fact that the backlog, 7 billion. I remember
The
seeing that and I
backlog
was
has
so
been
excited.
wiped. Wow.
Because for me, that has always been like
Yes.
something hanging and something we have to fix. So it's so good to know that it's all been sorted out now. And interestingly, I know for many Nigerians, the economic situation is one that is of worry. So it's a good thing to see the president also address that.
He also addressed the issue of food security.
Yeah, he did.
Agriculture, you know, fertilizer, additional equipment. Is
mechanized farming.
Exactly.
Right.
And these are all things that we've been waiting to hear about, and we hope, you know, very, very soon, all these things are going to be put into place as promised.
Yeah.
But of course, we'll be having more information for you in subsequent episodes. Bulletins of the news will be giving you updates on that as well. We'll be following each and everything just for you. Now to what we have lined up for the show. Woo, Wake Up Nigeria is starting this brand new month.
Yes.
Fresh.
Happy
New Month.
Exactly.
Guys.
Happy
New Month. In this month of love, let's, you know, share love, peace, you know, unity. You know, there's unity in our diversity. Let's not, but let's dive right into what we have for the show today. We start off with our parenting expert. We have Osezuzi Boliodeko. She is the founder and CEO of FOS Abba Center and Creative Hub, an inclusive creative center that helps to nurture creativity, social skills, emotional intelligence, and other practical skills. So this month is World Down Syndrome Day month. It's a month for World Down Syndrome and, you know, people living with autism and dyspraxia, right? And today she will be talking about the AAA strategy. This is a conversation I think would really, really help a lot of parents. So tune in.
Then, of course, we'll be having a performance come your way. Jesu Farati will be performing for us. And, of course, we'll be looking forward to that performance.
Of course, there's the health segments coming up. Oluwakemi Jeje is a visionary entrepreneur, passionate wellness expert, and dedicated social change maker. This morning, we're going to be having a conversation, of course, health-based, and it's, of course, focused on stress management.
And finally, we have Adebowale Idowu Victoria. She's a model and currently the winner of the just concluded maiden edition of the Face of Goge Africa. Organized by Goge Africa, a Pan-African cultural organization that has been in existence since 1999. To commemorate its 25th anniversary, she's, well, going to be on the show basically to talk about herself, her journey, and through the competition. Interesting one there. We are back. Thanks for staying with us. Yes, starting the month in a very, very tasty, unique way is Chef Tade. And this morning, I don't know what part of the world he's taking us to, but I hope it is where we all belong, right here in Nigeria. Our roots. We are sticking to our roots because I don't see it. Well, other than sweet potato, no, but sweet potatoes are. It's a general food. It's not peculiar to just Nigeria. It's what?
Red potatoes here.
Red potatoes?
Yes.
Well, why do they look like sweet potatoes?
Still potatoes anyways, but it's quite different.
Okay. So this morning, guys, he's making beef stroganoff. Where's that from?
That's from Russia.
They're coincidence. Okay. Beef stroganoff. The star ingredients is somewhere lurking around. We'll bring it up in a bit. But let's talk about the other ingredients that we'll be needing for our beef stroganoff.
All right, I have my sour cream here, but
Okay.
I already added vanilla to it.
Okay.
So I have flour, onions, garlic, mushroom,
Okay.
black pepper, coriander, and
Our red potatoes.
red potatoes.
Which, of course, we can also use sweet potatoes.
Yes, we also have white wine here.
To give it that kick.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I call, this is my thing. This is my, yeah. Okay, I see we're using baby mushrooms.
Yeah.
Why baby mushrooms? Can we use any other kind of mushrooms, or do they have to be like the baby?
Actually, I was the one that changed it because I did not
okay.
find this special.
Okay, so you decided to go for the baby ones. Talk us through the process for this recipe, because it seems very, well, I know that a lot of people have never made it before.
Yeah.
I think it's something that it requires a lot of, technicalities. I can feel
Yes.
So if you miss out on just one little thing, you could get the whole dish wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so talk us through the process step by step.
So what we do is that for our beef, we have to make it more like as if you're frying.
Okay.
Then you get the gravy part.
Okay. So what are we frying first?
No, we have to fry the beef and the
Okay.
onions together.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to do that together until it turns brown.
Okay.
So when it turns brown, we need that gravy part, that water.
The juice from the
juice
beef.
from the beef.
Okay.
So then we add our sour cream into it.
Okay.
We add every other thing, like spice, all the spices involved. We add it to it.
Okay.
Then we had what else? Then I'll have
The
add this.
sweet potatoes.
This is my own kind of dish because
Okay.
usually what they do is that you can only eat it with, probably eat it with rice, or you take it with pasta.
Pasta. Okay.
But
But we are having
I
sweet
decided to
potatoes
use
with it
sweet potatoes.
instead.
But I have to incorporate this into it
Ah,
to turn to a
okay.
dish, not
One
a
pot
yeah.
dish. Okay, so instead of having it as a sauce, we're having it as a one pot dish alongside our sweet potatoes.
Yes.
This is a really, really healthy recipe, guys. If you are on that endless fitness journey, I think you should incorporate this into your diet. And I wasn't calling anybody out because I was specifically talking to myself as well. Even though a lot of people feel like I don't need it, but hey, guys, so I'm curious about the sour cream.
Okay.
Where do we get sour cream? Is it off the counter? Because I don't think I've seen sour cream anywhere.
It's always available, but
Okay.
a bit expensive.
Oh, okay.
But if peradventure you're unable to get it, you
yours,
can also
okay.
improvise. You can use your yogurt.
Yogurt,
Sweetened
yeah.
yogurt.
Because I can tell that you could substitute with
Yeah,
the yogurt
yeah, with the
to get
yogurt.
that tangy taste
yes,
and that feel
definitely.
that you need
Yes.
for your,
For it.
But what kind of yogurt is in here? Is this
No,
yogurt or just a
it's
sour cream
yogurt,
itself?
but
Okay.
I added vanilla to it.
Vanilla.
Okay,
That's
vanilla.
the vanilla essence or
No,
powder?
just
or-
powder, color, just to give it.
Okay, just to give
yeah.
it that. Oh, okay, nice. Well, interesting recipe happening this morning right here on the show. It's Independence Day, but hey, Chef Tade is taking us to Russia, right, with his recipe called the beef stroganoff. Ooh, I love the name. It gives you energy. Yeah, it's not a recipe that you just call it.
Or you call it red
yeah.
bliss.
Red
Stroganoff.
beef stroganoff.
Because I'm adding.
Because of the sweet potatoes
Yeah.
or red potatoes, as Chef Tade. Anyway, we'll get to work really, really soon as our beef is ready. We'll have to go on a quick break. The show continues shortly, guys. Stay with us.
All right, it's time for us to have a conversation this morning on Wake Up Nigeria. And of course, we're going to be talking with Toyin Elenion. Toyin Elenion is a TV host, an on-air personality as well. And this morning, she'll be talking to us about Nigeria Amplified. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm very well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. All right, so Toyin, You're talking about Nigeria Amplified. Today is the Independence Day.
Right, correct.
And Nigeria Amplified is something that people haven't heard about. Tell us more about it.
Well, I think as a journalist, as a TV presenter, something I've been doing for the last decade. And the one thing that I have recurrently encountered is that people have stories. There are a lot of people doing amazing things, interesting things. And I think that it's important to share those stories because people need to be encouraged and, you know, inspired by what other people are doing. And we all know that to achieve any level of success in Nigeria, you must definitely have some hurdles to surmount. And I think that in hearing, you know, stories from people who have achieved success and what they've been through, I think it gives people that inspiration, that encouragement and that hope that wherever you are right now, you can get to where you want to get to. So that's basically the premise of Nigeria Amplified.
So you're pursuing a Guinness World Record. What is that about?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's pursuing it, but the approach of the show and the format of the show actually does entitle it to be classified as a Guinness World Record attempt because it will be the longest interview ever.
Longest interview ever.
Yes.
So it's supposed to span across how many days?
Well, Nigeria is 64 years old and has had its independence for 64 years rather, and the show will be 64 hours at minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you kept going on about 64, I thought you were about to say 64 days. I was
No,
okay.
I don't think that it's actually humanly possible for anyone to sit and talk continuously for 64 days. No.
Never can tell. Loads of impossible records are currently being broken.
There's impossible, but I think this is framed within the constraints of biological capability and capacity. So I just don't think
Never
it's
say
possible.
never. But let's talk about this. 64 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, the 64 hours Nigeria's independence, so it was actually initially planned to start on Independence Day. But we've had to sort of reschedule, recalibrate and re-strategize. So it will be happening still within Nigerian Independence Month of October, but starting on the 29th. The idea is to talk to individuals across different industries, different sectors, and just share stories. I mean, I think that it's important to also frame the narrative that the world has about us for ourselves. So the premise is, of course, to share inspirational and hope stories of hope, trials being surmounted, and you know the result of achievement, which is basically the premise of the name of the show.
So as an OAP and also as a television host, your experience is going to go into this. Is it going to be a televised event or is just going to be strictly audio?
No, it's televised, so it's an audio-visual event, so you'll be able to see the guests and hear them.
Okay.
And it's going to be syndicated, so we have a lot of media partners where you'll be seeing it on social media platforms, TV and online streaming as well.
All right. So what do you aim to achieve with this?
Well, the aim is, as I've said, we have to write our own narratives and create our own narratives and show the world that Nigeria is full of brilliant, resilient individuals, people who are doing amazing things, whether it's in the creative arts, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in the finance sector, whether it's in medicine. We have Nigerians who are brilliant and they need to be seen and heard by the world. So that's what I hope to share. I hope to share that Nigerians have a vast array of capacities and talents and abilities, and we want the world to see that.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Toyin Elenio. You prefer to be called Toyin, I know.
Yes.
All right. At this point, we'll take a quick break. Wake Up Nigeria continues in a bit. Just stay with us.
Welcome back. And on this Independence Day, there's a lot for us to talk about. A lot of people are in a certain amount of denial of how much stress they've been under over the past 1 year or even probably beyond that. And today we're going to be talking about stress management, or at least a particular strategy of stress management. We have with us Oluwakemi Jeje. She is a visionary entrepreneur, passionate wellness expert, and dedicated social change maker. She's transitioned from a successful corporate career to found Whole Eats Africa. It's a wellness food formulation organization bridging a well-being gap with whole food solutions. And as the founder, she's developed and launched innovative whole food solutions for wellness. Today, however, we're talking about journaling as a strategy for stress management. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's
I'm
great
happy
to have
be
you.
here.
Happy Independence Day.
Yes, happy Independence Day, Nigerians.
So the whole idea for me right now is for us to be independent of stress.
Oh, yes, please. By all means.
Let's find a way to crawl out of that hole that stress has caused for us. But you said we should focus on journaling.
Yeah.
Why exactly are we focusing on journaling? Talk to us.
Okay, so we can't completely crawl out of it. As long as we live on Earth, we're going to have triggers, we're going to have stressors.
Okay.
And we've got to be able to master how to manage it. We're going to come in contact experiences daily that stress us out.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are different varieties of tools that you can use to manage stress, keep it, especially anxiety.
Okay.
And this is very important because wherever you are in your wellness journey, you might feel completely well, but stress can become a trigger for disease, right? Chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, consistent, sustained stress can become a trigger for that. And then it can become a deterrent for recovery from disease.
Okay.
So this is why it's important that we pay attention to it. And for me, I find that there are a lot of things that have become common now, exercise, journaling, but there's certain times when it hits you at a point where you can't immediately start exercising.
Sure.
You can't immediately start breathing, but you can just take a paper, take a biro,
Yeah.
and start to digest that emotion that is stressing you out. And that's why stress is very important. Secondly, you can integrate this into your everyday program. I have a time at the end of every day where I'm deliberate to digest. I mean, it's like you keep eating and you keep eating, you're not digesting. That's what happens to some of us. You've got terrible experiences today, stressful experiences, but you haven't digested it. And they say a problem shared is absorbed. It's not always the case. Sometimes you don't even have the right people to listen to you, but you can always just, you know what?
Okay. Write
Dump
it down.
that.
So
on a
now
paper.
it does feel like should I call it a Western thing to do? The average Nigerian has, their God they pray to, that they meditate to, right? They have, maybe they like to, scream, shout. They probably have something they turn to. It could be coffee, alcoholic beverages. They have something else they turn to.
That helps,
Culturally, sometimes they lean towards that instead of writing things down. It does feel like you are more diagnosed as having something wrong with you when you start writing things down that seem alarming. So, okay, today my boss did this and that and this and that. Like, it's not a Nigerian thing to do. So you need to break down why I should actually try this out. I'm trying to find my why on this now. Talk to me.
Okay. So you're right, it's not Nigerian. It actually feels like you're either keeping records of evil.
Exactly.
I mean, imagine someone stumble onto your journal and find their names there.
Exactly.
Did this. But no, like I said earlier, I had an experience sometime last year.
Okay.
And I got into traffic offense, and it was a dual carriage road, and you didn't know at what point it stopped. So I wasn't used to this particular enforcement agent, and they got my car, took it. But at the end of the day, by the time I went online and found out that these guys are not even regular, you couldn't even get your car out. I mean, it can even get sold. Wow. I was frozen. So usually I would pray. But I was so stressed and scared, I couldn't even pray. I couldn't do a thing. So I did my, dear God.
Okay, you wrote it down.
I cannot pray tonight.
Wow.
This is what has happened. This is what I've done. This is where I am. I cannot deal. I'm just going to go and sleep and hope that tomorrow morning when I wake up, I know what to do.
Okay.
That helped me to dump a huge part of that anxiety and be able to sleep. Otherwise, because I felt like, I dumped it on God. Even if who you're writing, there are times that, if for Christians, as for instance, sometimes that you feel like, I can't pray. Well, you can write, dear God.
Okay.
So I do a lot of dear God journaling. Yeah. Okay. Other than, and sometimes it's even Thanksgiving. Sometimes it's, I want to be able to do this. I can't do it. Right? But it could be, dear God, if it makes you feel like, it's odd.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that you're digesting emotions. You're
identifying it. You're pinpointing what is going on. So I
Yeah.
do feel like a lot of people are in denial of the anxiety and the stress they're under. I can still remember a particular lady who came from outside the country, a foreigner, and she got into, went into the, into traffic normally, and then I think it was a keke that slammed into her, and her car wasn't damaged, but the shock of it, by the time she got into the conference she was coming for, she said this was the most stressful thing she had ever been through. And I'm like, keke, scratch your car. And this is the most stressful thing. She was like, that she's actually going to call her therapist about it. Because she was able to identify that she had been through something that had...
Unusual. Yeah.
But for us,
we just
keep going.
Yeah, stuff it down.
But what
shake
is
it off.
happening when we're stuffing these things down?
We're keeping our system acidic.
Wow.
Because nothing gets your system acidic faster. I mean, we're all getting educated about food right now.
Yeah.
But your emotions will bypass digestion and pass those hormones straight into your blood. And straight in an instant, you've gone from whatever you've had this morning, cucumbers, whatever you've done, from alkaline to acidic, straight in an instant.
Wow.
And then
this is actually a chemical reaction. This is not...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are your hormones.
Wow.
Right? And as you begin to master it, the body begins to build itself to survive rather than to thrive.
Okay.
Do you understand? So it's putting a lot more energy in survival than to heal, to keep you whole, to recover, to renew self. But because it has to deal with distress all the time, it has to have packets of energy stored out for that. And so your healing process, they're denying the metabolic energy they need.
It does kind of feel like social media has become a journal for a lot of people who want to rant. And I say rant because journaling is ranting on paper, essentially.
Right.
Putting all your stress or your negative thoughts on paper so that it doesn't, continue to stress you out. And people are tweeting, people are posting, people are sharing a lot of things on social media.
Sometimes oversharing.
Oversharing. So obviously, pen and paper is very old school, traditional. Some people like to type their thoughts. So what are your thoughts regarding where people should journal? Should this always be kept to yourself and kept secret? Or is it okay to let these thoughts out into the world?
There's a place for community, definitely. But you see, oversharing online, you're probably not thinking unintended consequences. 20 years down the line, do you still want this information out there? Is this information going to impact someone else negatively? If you think about all that, you want to keep your ranting within a safe community, and then your safest community is within yourself. And if you talk about people wanting to type their digital journals, so I am still very old school about journaling. It's very therapeutic for me to actually write. But after some time, I find time to transfer onto a digital journal that then reminds me, I mean, the way the digital journals even work, it reminds me 5 years ago today you wrote. And sometimes I find that very therapeutic. Oh, I wrote this 5 years ago, 7 years ago I wrote this.
Wow.
So that helps me stay grounded and on track. So, but for going completely out there with everything and anything, no boundaries, no privacy, I'd say that's not safe. It can offer you immediate relief, but long term is very expensive. It can be very expensive.
Okay. Now, I have to say thank you so much for joining us now. And we're going to have a really interesting month with you on our health segment throughout the month of October. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. So, yes, have you ever thought of having a journal, writing things down, letting it all out? If you haven't, maybe try it out. It might be that stress relief you've been looking for. At this point, we have to move on with the show. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
It seems like we're doing the Three Sisters show today. What's going on?
It's Independence Day.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, Titi looks so nice.
Around the world.
Girl.
Chef Tade, sorry, you're not a girl, but...
Okay, sorry. Chef Tade cooks the food while we run the world.
Yes.
Okay.
It's still Independence Day, and Chef Tade has been hard at work taking us to Russia. Stroganoff. He's making beef stroganoff. It's an old 19th century Russian food. It's been there for decades, and Chef Tade said, you know what, guys, I'm going to teach you how to make this Russian meal. So Chef Tade, tell us, where are you at? What's going on right there?
So right now I'm trying to caramelize my onions.
Okay. That's a lot of onions, by the way.
Yes, it's a lot of onions with garlic.
Okay. No ginger involved.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So at the end, add my beef.
Ah, okay.
You know, ginger is it's a more tropical flavor. It's not something that you find in European or Russian dishes that much because of how it grows. It grows in tropical, sorry, because I grow it in my garden. I'm just sure you know. It can't grow that well in cold countries.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. It grows better in warmer
climates.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing beef. Is it beef I'm hearing or something else?
Beef,
Yeah, beef.
yeah.
Beef, where is the beef?
Coming.
It's coming.
Because I was here and then I'll add my beef because I'm seeing mushrooms here. So I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, these days everything is vegan now. Maybe the new beef is mushrooms.
Yeah, so
I wanted to be clear.
There are key ingredients for this recipe.
Yeah.
The mushrooms, white wine, and the beef.
So there's white mushrooms,
Where's the white
wine. Is the beef white too? Did you bleach it?
Where's the white wine? It's Independence
Titi,
Day.
control yourself.
Ow.
Titi.
She cannot help herself.
I see.
Calm down. Yeah.
So
That's
the
a
thing-
lot of onions.
So anything Russian always excites me because I have a Russian name, Valia. and
Who gave you Russian name?
my dad actually. My dad studied in Ukraine.
Why am I hearing this for the first time?
So now you've heard it. You can actually speak a bit of Russian. As you can even remember some of the words. So I'm very interested in doing this because I would like to replicate it for my dad without the beef, that is, because he's vegetarian. Today's World Vegetarian Day.
No, today is World Coffee Day as well.
Yes,
Coffee?
Yes, it's World Coffee Day.
Why didn't you tell me?
Today is World Music Day as well. A lot happening today. Music, coffee, vegetarian.
Independence Day.
It's my parents' wedding anniversary as well. Happy wedding anniversary,
Yeah, because
mommy and daddy.
I heard you wishing speaking to your mom and
Yeah, yes. Happy wedding anniversary.
How old?
If I tell you, you know my age, so let's forget it.
Wow, whoa. So these mushrooms look so special. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. I'm not sure what
Is there a
they're
special
called.
name for this mushroom? Because I know every mushroom has its
What are
name.
they called?
This particular species.
What is it called?
It's a different one.
This looks nice, like it was literally pulled from the roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all joined together.
I feel like if I go and plant this one, it will continue growing in my garden.
So I should mention this disclaimer, please. Don't just pluck mushroom from anywhere.
I don't trust Titi with
See,
anything.
you people,
anything with roots.
you people should be very careful because
Nice one,
so
nice one.
mushrooms, there are many mushrooms and they are everywhere. However, many mushrooms are poisonous.
Very.
So you need to be very careful.
No, it's
very,
even
very careful.
health experts would even advise that you should only get mushrooms off the counter.
Yeah.
Don't any
Pluck
of the
or
plucked ones. No. They
Avoid
could be poisonous,
food
and you will
poisonous,
never
yes.
know. So it's just better.
So you
to
don't go and
get
pluck
ones
it from a dead tree and say, this one look like mushroom, make I go cook
Yeah,
am.
go cook 'em. All right.
At this point,
yeah.
we still have quite a lot coming your way
We
today on
do,
Wake Up Nigeria.
we
We
do.
have parenting this
Yes.
morning.
Osezuzi Bolodeko is right here, and she is the founder and CEO of SOS ABBA Center and Creative Hub. And this morning, right, to commemorate the Down Syndrome Month, we'll be discussing the AAA strategy.
Then we'll have a musical performance, and it's by Jesu Tofarati. We're looking forward to this one, celebrating Nigeria today.
Then we have Adebowale Ido Victoria, a model and currently the winner of the just concluded maiden edition of Face of Goge Africa, organized by Goge Africa, a Pan-African cultural organization that's existed since 1999. They're commemorating their 25 years, or rather 25th year anniversary. And yeah, she is known as Queen Kezia. We can't wait to talk to her.
Can you imagine how excited she is? It's getting hot in here.
So the beef has
Keep your
made an
clothes on.
appearance. It's made an appearance.
Yes, that's the beef.
Yeah.
So I know Chef Tade was like, what's your own? And what's your own? I told you there's beef coming.
All right, so we're still getting things sorted right here in the kitchen.
Yes.
Chef Tade is hard at work. Well done, Chef Tade,
Yes,
well
sir.
done.
Time for a conversation on parenting this morning on Wake Up Nigeria. For that, we've got Osezusi Bolodeoku, and she is the founder and CEO of FOS Abba Center and Creative Hub, an inclusive creative center that helps to nurture creativity, social skills, emotional intelligence, and other practical skills that all children need to succeed and thrive in the world. Furthermore, the center provides supports for children and families with special education needs, including autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, and other neurodiverse needs. Today, we will talk about the AAA strategy. So good to have you in the studio with us today. How are you doing?
Very well. So good to be here again.
Awesome. So the AAA strategy. Tell us about that.
It's something interesting, like AAA, right? It is awareness, acceptance, and accommodation. That's what it means. And when we talk about special needs is there's a broad range, and each range has their spectrum. So it's really broad, right? You could see a child with Down syndrome and others say, oh, the child has autism, or they label it something else. So when we are aware, you know, when you know something, it's easier to accept it, right?
Yeah.
There's an acceptance that comes to that, right? And when you accept, then you create like accommodations for everyone, because this world is for all of us, right?
At the end of the day, you're right. It is for all of us. So when you say you accept, is it accepting the behavior of the child, or accepting what the child has been made out to be, which you have no control over?
Oh, that's awesome that you asked that. So it's accepting that there's something called neurodiversity, right? Neurodiversity means that we're different. We all have different thinking patterns. However, there are maladaptive behaviors that we should be concerned about. And those are the behaviors that we want to kind of redirect, because I really do not think we change behaviors, we replace them. And you first really need to know why the child is behaving the way they're behaving. Yes, and you're looking at the function of the behavior, because the behavior is communicating something, right? And say, for example, practical example now, a child that would always come to pull you, irrespective of what you're doing, you're cooking, you're having a conversation on the phone, and the child just comes, pulls you, the child is trying to get your attention, right? But there are other ways to get your attention. So you know that this child is trying to get your attention. So instead of waiting for the child to pull, why not teach the child to perhaps tap you gently or say, excuse me, right? So you teach and you model behaviors, right? But you really do need to know the function.
Okay, so I'm going to have us touch on at least two, or maybe just two because of time.
Okay.
Let's talk about the behavioral patterns of autism, especially for parents that don't quite know how to identify it yet.
Okay.
Yes, let's touch on that. So what kind of behaviors should make you ask yourself questions? Could it be this? Could it be that? Even before you seek medical help.
Good. Oftentimes, what we have is we wait, or is when the child, the toddler, is not responding or communicating, like vocalizing with speech, right? That's when we get, oh, this child is not talking. However, there are a lot of behaviors to be watchful for, like when a child of 4 months just cries excessively, just keeps crying, you know that, oh, what is wrong with this child? This child is perfectly fine. It's something you want to just pay attention to. And when they have like what we call automatic behaviors, automatic reinforcers, simply meaning that you do not need a third party to carry out that behavior. Like, I could bite my nails. I do not need you to help me.
To bite my nails.
You know? So those are automatic behaviors, right? And when they have those behaviors, right, flapping of hands, doing something repeatedly, structured, like lining things, toys down in a particular way. They do not play with toys appropriately.
And appropriate plays.
Absolutely, you know, there are appropriate play for a
Toddler,
for a toddler is they always want to show you something. It's like I do something, you do something back to me. You smile, I smile, you smile back, or you know the good peekaboo.
Yeah.
Peekaboo. So they respond, they smile, but the child is aloof. The child does not know what you're talking about. So you have to, and the child likes to be by themselves. Humans, we are quite
Social beings.
Yeah, we're very social beings, so we really do not like to be, especially babies, they do not like to be by themselves. So when the child likes to be by themselves,
Then you need to worry. Okay, now let's talk about ADHD. How do you identify the behavior?
okay, the thing with ADHD is the behaviors. They are behaviors you find in with everybody, with every child that age. However, you're not looking at the behavior that is affecting perhaps their learning, perhaps their sleeping, or is this behavior so excessive that it affects them? Basic skills, adaptive skills, and all that. So, and it's not, it's really about not pointing at those behaviors at a very early stage, 6 years, you work on those behaviors, right? But when the child still keeps behaving that way,
Even past 6 years?
at 6, 7, 8, then you go for a formal diagnosis, right? And all that.
Okay.
But
Because children will always be
those
children.
behaviors are really impulsive behaviors.
I have a lot of questions for you.
Impulsive behaviors. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to ask
And
you.
your impulsivity may not even be outward, may just be the brain activity. Like your brain just keeps going and going and going. You know.
Wow. Okay. So look out for these behaviors in your child. You never can tell what you might discover. Sometimes it's normal, sometimes it's not. Basically, that's what this is about. Thank you so much for your time, Osezisi. Thank you indeed.
Welcome. I'm so
And
glad to be
of
here.
course, at this point, we'll take a break. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. Just stay with us.
Hello and welcome back. Now on today's Independence Day edition, we have an extra special guest, Adebowale Idowu Victoria. She's a model and currently the winner of the just concluded maiden edition of Face of Goge Africa. Now, if you don't know what Goge Africa is, either you go and ask Google or you listen to this. Now, Goge Africa is a Pan-African cultural organization. It's been in existence since 1999, and it's actually commemorating its 25th year anniversary. Now, with us, we have Queen Kezia. Yeah, that's your other name, your stage name, Queen Kezia.
Yes, that is it.
And she's also a medical practitioner. She has over 8 years in the health and medical aesthetics field. She's a massage therapist and trained physical therapist. It's great to have you in the studio with us.
Same here. Nice to meet you.
The Face of Goge Africa.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big crown to wear, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So how did the competition go? Talk to us about how it felt to win.
Well, the competition was the first one
Okay.
because we have other models from all over Africa.
Okay.
Even among the winners,
Yeah.
there's a lady from Liberia who is also a winner.
Beautiful.
So we had people all over. We had screening, we had audition.
Okay.
We're given taxes to do,
Okay.
which we're being graded with. Eventually, we're 1,000 to begin with. 1,000 models.
1,000.
1,000. So eventually, they picked just 30, top 30 models, including male and females. Then we had a camping section. They brought in instructors to train us, the modeling, couture, dance competition.
African
all of that.
dances,
Yes,
yes.
African dances, yes.
Of course.
And we had African costumes, which we wore. And then the competition, the main competition that day.
Do you know do you have any idea what it was that made you stand out during this competition? What do you think it was?
Not to be overconfident, but I'd say, because for me, this is my biggest platform. This is the biggest stage for me.
Yeah.
I've been trying, but I've just been minor modeling keys,
Okay.
like the face model and all that.
Yeah.
So when I was in camp, I met people that have had experience in this modeling field.
Yeah.
Somewhat, I wouldn't lie, I felt intimidated at first because they were all reminiscing about their past
Other things,
experience. Yeah, Miss Independent, Miss Heritage, and I was just like, oh, I'm just the first model. That's just what I have. And I just know that I'm doing well for myself, career-wise.
You are.
Which is
I was gonna touch on that. You're in the medical field.
Exactly.
Where exactly do you practice?
General Hospital Ikeja Lasut.
Wow.
That's where I'm under the Community Health and Primary Healthcare Department.
Okay.
That's where I went. But one thing that stood me out among all other constants was the fact that I was a medical practitioner.
Of course.
And they were all surprised that, you nurse, what are you doing here? So I said, well, it's just a passion outside health.
Sure.
That is what I do. Because I've been on it, 10, 11 years now, I've been practicing.
Interesting.
I guess this is my biggest breakthrough in the modeling field.
I have to say, it is a big platform.
Yes.
It's a huge platform. GOTV Africa has made a lot of impact over the years, especially in the area of tourism. So talk to us about some of the things you learned about what GOTV Africa has been, doing in the area of tourism and what's happening now. Okay,
GOTV Africa has several organizations. They are into the education aspect.
Okay.
They're into travel and tour.
Yeah.
And they are also into NGO. They reach out to people, they do that. But mainly, so far, what I've learned from GOTV Africa is that because GOTV Africa represents a symphony of culture, colors, and tradition, which is what they stand for. They're trying to bring back our lost culture that has been forgotten. Trying to bring back into remembrance because now the Gen Zs have taken over now and most of them don't even remember these are past cultures anymore.
Sure.
So that's what GOTV Africa is trying to bring back because the events, just concluded events, if you take a sneak back to the events, you realize that it was mostly what practiced in the olden days, in tradition, that was what they brought about. And even the outfit, they were more specific about traditional attire. Sure. You're not interested in your English outfit and all that.
Of course.
Just represent yourself. And people that came from we have people that came from even South Africa. Like my friend that came from Liberia, I love that tradition. She really represented herself well from Liberia. So
amazing.
That's what it's all about. And me, for a person, I saw it being, I'm overwhelmed because this is coming for me because I'm married. And I have a child. So
you're married?
Yes, I'm married and with a child. So when I told my friends in the camp that I'm married, they're like, wow.
Wow.
Your husband allowed you to be here?
Yeah.
I said, definitely.
Amazing.
I'm married.
It is a respectable platform. Yeah. They've done a lot, as I said earlier, they've made a lot of impact in the space. And also even broadcasting-wise, they are one of the most well-known broadcasting couples ever. I'm talking about Nneka and Isaac Moses. We appreciate them, and they're friends of the house. But I'm wondering what's happening next. As face of GOTV Africa, you must have a plan or something you're preparing for.
Currently, we are winners.
Yes.
We are doing branding, packaging, marketing, and all, which is one of the reasons why I'm here.
Okay, of course.
Because that's what they want us to do. So
of
that's
course.
why I'm here. And on my platform, I've been pushing for it as the face, just to let everybody know that I'm the face of GOTV Africa.
Sure.
But coming up October 26th to 27th, they're going to have the festival, which is the main 25th anniversary.
Amazing.
The one we had was just the competition, but the main event is 26th to 27th of October, which is going to hold at the Onikon Stadium.
Interesting.
Yes, for 2 days. But for we models and ambassadors, we're going to be there before the event.
Of course.
And according to our mentors, they told us that they're going to have a recrowning section.
Interesting.
For all winners.
So for those that missed it, then they get to see it all over again. They get to experience the traditional dances and the fashion.
It's going to be brand now, bigger than what happened earlier. It's going to be bigger.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised and extremely impressed, even with how you are representing the brand for GOTV Africa and the way you've already connected with us. You've connected with the brand so much, it feels like you've been part of their world for more than just a few months. But we wish you well, we wish you good luck, especially in your medical field as well. Is there anywhere that what you are as face of GOTV Africa and what you've been doing, is there anywhere they align? you being in the medical field.
Definitely.
Where does it align?
Definitely. Just like GOTV Africa has the empowerment section, I intend to infuse youth empowerment, women empowerment into it. You know, outreach, reach out to the less privileged, use my voice, lend my voice to people, and help one another, raise one another up, and then to encourage women that no matter what you are, no matter the position you find yourself, you can still be the best that you can. You can still push yourself, you can still achieve. Just don't give up in what you do, because you never can tell when the right time is going to come for you.
I am so glad you were able to come and talk to us today. The face of GOTV Africa, everyone. Face of GOTV Africa. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so I want to take you on a trip. I know you're going to be doing a lot of traveling. That one is for sure. You're going to travel. Nneka and Isaac, Moses will definitely take you on a few trips, and you're going to represent us so well. Thank you so much. But let's take you on a trip to our kitchen first. Your first stop is Russia, because we have a Russian dish prepared by Chef Tade in the kitchen. Let's go. Okay.
Well, yes. Welcome to the kitchen.
Thank you.
This is Chef Tade, and this morning he's taking us to Russia. We're having beef stroganoff. Right. So dig in. So in there, you want to quickly tell us what we have in there?
Yes, we have red potatoes.
Please dig in. Would like to have your
Have a taste.
Beef and
Mushrooms.
mushrooms.
We don't want to tell them that's what
So what do you think?
This is so nicely done. Very crispy.
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, I see what you did with the mushrooms at the end. You sort of like stir-fried it a bit to give it that crunchy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Please taste the mushroom. Please taste the mushroom. Oh, taste the beef?
Yeah.
She's going for the beef.
She's a smart one.
Smart girl.
Yeah, I was wondering, why didn't she try the beef?
Ooh. What do you think?
Very tender.
Very tender.
I love it. I love it.
Nice. Thank you so much for being a part of the Wake Up Nigeria show this morning.
Yes, sir.
Happy Independence Day, Nigeria!
Happy Independence Day, everyone! Have a great
day.
day.
Bye.
Bye.